One of the things that the Automarketer does is create a drip campaign to find sellers. The biggest challenge as a real estate investor is finding good deals, finding sellers who will work with you under the terms and conditions that you need in order to make a profit. So to do that, it often takes a marketing campaign. And it's not always just about one phone call. Sometimes it's about a series. And if you look at any type of direct marketing, it's always about touching that potential lead 8 times or more. So what we've done in the Automarketer is set up a system so that it automatically goes to Zillow and to Craigslist. It pulls people that are selling their homes for sale by owner, and it sends them a text message that says, hey, would you consider you're selling your home or rent to buy rather than selling it outright? And we get a response typically from a percentage of those people, 10 to 20% on average, will respond. And 80 to 90% of those will say, no, I'm not interested. But the system will then, 3 days later, send another email saying, hey, would you consider selling your home rent to buy? Here, check out my website. And it sends them a link to the clone site that explains how rent to buy works and how we would work with them in order to get that property sold, how we would work as an investor with them to get that property sold. On day 8, it sends another one out. On 7 days after that, it sends another one out. And it continues to do that over a 3-month period. And it sends them to different clone sites. One clone site that talks about doing the for rent method, which is flipping lease options. The other one is the We Will Buy site that teaches them or explains to them that we can buy their property in any condition, in any type of situation that it is, brand new properties, terrible properties, undervalued properties, properties that are at market value, properties that might even be behind on their payments. We can buy those. So that's the next site. And then the next site that it sends them is the Subject To site that helps them understand how Subject To works and how we could take over their property subject to the existing loan. So that drip campaign that constantly drip on them over a period of time, the goal is to try to find them at the right time, in the right place, in the right mindset, so that they're ready to sell their property to us. And it also helps us build our credibility. It helps us build our trust with them over time. And they get to know us as, hey, this guy is serious. He's got websites. He's got different ways of doing this. He's got ideas about how we might be able to make this work. Maybe I should be talking to him instead of some other guy that's calling me out of the blue. And it'll make it more likely that you're going to be able to convert them, because trust is everything in these transactions. Being competent and being trustworthy, and then being able to convince people that you actually know what you're talking about and can solve their problem. And that's what a drip campaign can do. Now, you can set up drip campaigns in the Automarketer, use the ones that I've created for you, or you could create any type of drip campaign that you wanted to. I had a mentor student who was also a pastor, and he wanted to create a drip campaign in the Automarketer for his parishioners, for people that would come to visit his church on Sunday. So he would, when they would come to visit, he would put their information, whether it's an email or a phone number, into the system, and then it would automatically send out, he'd put them into a campaign, a templated campaign that he could use for everybody that came, and it would send out a note that says, hey, thanks for coming on Sunday. It was great to meet you. I hope that you can come on Wednesday to our special Bible study. So it would go out and it would try to get people to come to that. And then on the Saturday, say, hey, I hope you're coming tomorrow. If you need a ride, call us and we'll make sure you get somebody to pick you up. And then he would have one that would send out a voicemail to that same person and say, hey, this is Pastor John, and if you're interested, please, I'd love to have you come back. It was great to see you. And it would be a kind of a generic message, but it would be enough to feel personal to them. And then he could have one that would send a text, and he would drip on them over time. Hey, I didn't see you last Sunday. I hope you can make it next Sunday. So this campaign constantly built a relationship, and he would give them information about what he was doing. That's what we do with real estate, and that's what you can do with any type of business. This is basic marketing that is very, very effective over time, because you're either going to hit them at the right time with the right message, or it's just going to keep dripping on them until they give up and actually work with you. So it works with them until they ask to take you off the list or until they die. All right, so that's drip campaigns, and that's what the Automarketer does, and it might be something you'd want to look at if you'd want to try to have a constant stream of leads that are coming in that are going to be qualified. It takes a month or 2 or 3 to get it up and running, but once it's going, it's going to be regular. And I guess it doesn't take time to get it up and running. You can send out a blast on the first day that you get it, and you'll start getting leads back immediately. All right, I hope that helps.